And we're back. What up, homies? Yeah, kind of a boring day, and I'm really excited about leaving at 12 o'clock today. So that's also one I want to start doing this maybe a little bit earlier in the summer because the summer doldrums begin generally at 12 o'clock. I mean, it's a good time to do a review. And if you are in the listening area, make sure the biggest review we're ever going to do is August 16th at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, my house. You don't have to come to my house. You could do it online. So August 16th to 1 o'clock, 12 o'clock, till about 2. We will go over all the setups that I love so much and how to stay focused on the stocks that we stay focused on and where to buy, where to place stops, and what to expect. And that is basically all you ever need to know about trading. So today, as yesterday, was an epic clinic in what was sort of a boring day, kind of boring. It was a little exciting for the shorter at the open on the Qs. That was exciting to do something that normally doesn't work, and you're actually punished by the law to short them, and we did. This morning we shorted the Qs too, escaped alive. I took a quick profit on it and not short anymore. Right now, the Qs are acting as an ATM machine to fund people's other ideas because that's exactly what's happening. Money's not coming out of the market. It's being transferred and rotated. And that rotation is going into some of the ridiculous names. They're using the ATM as funding the, your opens and all those other trades. But right now, even though the market's, I don't even want to use the word weak, right? This is just it's not even down. The Dow's up, the SPYs are up, and you see the transfer. The Qs are just pausing. So when I talk about the market, I always talk about the Qs because that's my market. I'm more of a QQQ guy than anything. I've been in since inception, pretty much long from 2003. Family owns it. And again, as an addicted shorter who's learned his lesson the hard way, I'm looking for signs. The dash or trash. We were talking about that with the Herb Greenberg today. Usually, and it has been a sign that the overall market's coming to a grinding halt. Right. That doesn't mean we're going to sell off. We could just pause and then go sideways, which is probably what we're going to see. And then that sideways action is just going to be a consolidation, and inevitably the Qs will start breaking out again and we'll be ripping. So, again, why did we short this morning? What do you think? Because we came in thinking about going short because it worked. We saw the Monday late day selling. Tuesday morning, there was some sellers. The market really didn't recover as much as it normally does yesterday. It recovered, of course, and this is some moves from the overnight session. Right? It never recovered. We get our sell-off, market faux shows, and then it bros, and you just rally. Yesterday was a little different. So we take that under advisement, and you say, hey, maybe there's some sellers left over. And we tried it, and it worked. And I got out, and I'm out since. Well, let me show you the trade that now. Wait, hang on a second. I got the radio going the other way. Alexa, stop playing. And by the way, I found a new one while I was dumpster diving. I found another Alexa. I wonder if it works. Anybody wants one of those things? They're always listening. Yeah, come August 16th, I also give away prizes that day. I got a couple of $10 iTunes gift cards to give away if you guys are interested in playing Kenny Glick Trivia. You should know who my first stockbroker was. All right, so let's talk about the trade that still hasn't failed in over 3 years. And it was, what was it yesterday, right? We had 3 of them. We had the wonderful and talented Coca-Cola trade, which again, I trade Coke 4 times a year on earnings day. That's it, because you know it's going to be active. It's a boring stock, but Coke was, I was going to say classic. The jokes just write themselves. It was classic Coke, but a classic trade. So let me get rid of these red lines and walk you through it. If you don't remember, any stock that's gapped down, we're looking for a reason to buy it. Right? Doesn't matter. I don't care what the analyst is saying. I don't even care what the numbers are, whether they beat EBITDA or their forward guidance is weak. Is the stock down after reporting earnings? If the answer is yes, I'm looking to buy it, no matter what. And then I take that idea and I'm like, all right, now prove it to me that Coke is worth buying. Oh, look, a fake out, shake out underneath VWAP, and then it breaks over the VWAP and then breaks over the high point where it couldn't break earlier. Now, again, with this one, I was feeling a little bullish on the Coke. So I started buying on the fake out, shake out part when it came back. So I bought some 69, right? So coming back over the 69, because half number breaks and whole number breaks usually trigger more buying by themselves. 69 break, because as soon as I bought it at 69, I'm using the bottom of the candle as my first stop, and then the low of the day as my second. So immediately defining the risk. The orange line was up there, right? So that's my reward waiting for me. And again, if you're buying something, your reward's unlimited, but just to be based in rational thought, what we've discovered using this setup, especially with volume weighted average price and multiple time frame, we usually get to the multiple time frame VWAP once we achieve the first hurdle, which is the VWAP break, and then the 930 or the opening candle high break. So in this case, I'm buying 69, added to it when it convinced me that I'm right about this trade. I added to it at 69.25. But even as soon as it got back to the high candle, even though my goal was to get here and beyond, I'm a seller of like almost 40% of the position so I could lock the trade in. And then by the orange line, I'm out of the other 40%. Now I got 20% left. And I use those areas where I sold it on the way up as my stop. And not disappointed, but again, that takes the thought out of the process. If you don't put the stop on and the stock starts to tank, that emotion where you say, "Wow, I probably should be selling this. Let's see what happens. Let's see what happens." I'll tell you what's going to happen. It usually gets worse. When you say "let's see what happens," it just whatever you were about to do, and you just said "let's see what happens." Don't let's see what happens. Get out of the trade. Because let's see what happens is a terrible phrase. It generally gets worse. Take my word for it. And that's why stops take that moment, that debate out. You sold some at 69.75 and some 70s, and then you're thinking 70 and a half here. It starts to break down, and then it breaks back under 69.75. That's it. It's over. So the most boring stock to trade ever, Coke, turned out to be phenomenal. Easy to understand, very low risk trade, medium to large rewards. I'm not going to show you the option trade, but I will. So the idea is, what are you buying? You're buying the $69 call, right? By at the money options yesterday. $69 call. And you're buying the option at 66 cents, and they went to $1.30. So 100% on your money. And again, when you're trading options, making 100% with this trade, that's just usually the beginning. Doubling your money is the easy part. Let that sink in, right? Doubling your money is the easy part. Usually, if you get over the orange line, you keep following through. But in this case, orange line put up a fight, and we wound up getting stopped out. Who cares? Trade was a winner. And then you got RTX. I think you guys joined me on this one. This was the better one. Again, doesn't get much better than this, right? And I'm going to show you my next one. I hope you're still in it. Remember yesterday, if Halliburton, blah, 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 doesn't break the blah, 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 stay with it. All right. So, but before I get to the Halliburton, I just want to show you the 3 trades from yesterday and the perfect nature of the trade. And this is why, let me say this one more time. If you're struggling with your trading, how about you take a trade that works every single time? This ain't about Sedge going down today or hoping SRAD goes to 50 in 18 months. It ain't trying to pump open back up or Funko or whatever bullshit stock we've been talking about, right? This trade funds all that other nonsense. This trade hasn't failed to provide you a winning trade in over 3 years. Not once, not one failed trade, not once, not once. Take this trade because everything else is a far distant second. And the only reason not to take this trade is that you have something else that works every single time. If you don't, maybe you should sprinkle this in to your repertoire of trading, and then maybe it'll take you a shorter period of time. It took me 18 months to realize, hey, maybe this should be the only thing I ever do. And it's not, obviously. I'm all over these crazy names all day, opens and donuts and sedges and blah, blah, blah. But I set myself up to trade these names by taking profits from the market on the high quality trades like the RTX. Wonderful. Fake out, shake out. So again, let's go through the checklist of why you're taking these trades. Did they report earnings? Yes. Are they down? Sure are. What are you going to do? I'm buying. Why? The analyst said it was going to zero. The company just reported terrible numbers. Oh, yeah? Well, good for you. I'm going to be over here making money. You go have that conversation with yourself. I'll be over here. And then you say to yourself, is it gap down? Did they report numbers? Is it doing a faux show? It is. Is it breaking VWAP? It is. Buy it. And that needs to be your thought process. That's the checklist of success going forward for the rest of your life. It's not about what they had to say or what the company does or how much money they made. That's irrelevant. You're looking to trade the stock for an hour, 2 hours, or 3 hours. None of that matters to us. What matters is the market is rigged around these option plays that if they get through the blue line, they tend to gravitate or revert back to prior day or anchored VWAP, if you will. And we've got the anchoring and we've got the know-how, and we take this trade. And again, this one I got in late and still managed to make some money because it was a range break. And I knew that my target still remained up there. And look how beautiful this trade turned out to be. And you had a little faux show bro in the middle of the day just to get, if you didn't make money on the first one. And this is where we bought the options. So we had a chance to get those 148s. That was where they were at 120. And here they are right now, 120 entry, trading at 287. And again, that's one of the good things about trading options. There's not many good things about trading options on a Tuesday that expire on Friday because usually we're not holding them. But in this case, while the stock was chopping around and doing nothing, we could at least say, all right, listen, we got 3 days for maybe this stock to pop. We don't got to be freaking out about the 60 cents that the options were down at the time. And it turned out to be a pretty good trade. But wait, there's more. And then you go back to my friend Halliburton, right? Everybody loves Halliburton, right? Illuminati stock, right? Let me get rid of the red lines. Those are where we traded it yesterday. What do you notice about the Halliburton trade and the Coke trade and the FCX trade? What you're noticing here is they're all the same trade. Yes, because that's the setup that works every single time. It should look similar because that's the trade. And it's fantastic. Take it. So this morning, right, you walked in, you said, man, I can't believe I traded Halliburton, Coke, and RTX, right? We were all ready to trade some bullshit biotech and a wannabe micro strategy, some bullshit $3 stock up 900%. Next thing you know, we're talking about Halliburton and Coke and RTX. So this morning, what were you thinking? Give me some earnings reports. That's what I was thinking. And I looked at the list, and I'm like, oh my God. If you want boring, oh, I got you boring. You want a toe? I'll get you a toe with nail polish. You want some boring trades? It's AT freaking T. AT and freaking T. AT and freaking T. Nobody trades the stock. Why are we trading it? Oh, I'm going to go through the checklist of why. Did they report earnings? Oh, they did. Are they gapped down on earnings? Oh, they are. Is it below VWAP? Oh my God, it is. Did it just faux show? I believe it did. Wait a minute. Is it breaking back over VWAP? I think it is. Wait, now there's something I'm supposed to be doing at this point. Okay, I have this checklist, and it says buy it. How did I miss that? It's in big bold letters with 3 exclamation points, even though you're a lunatic if you lose more than 1 exclamation point. Buy it. Buy it. Buy it. But it's AT&T. What is the stock going to do? I don't know. Maybe go from the blue line to the orange line. How you doing? Don't take my word for it. Look at that chart. Blue line, orange line. Blue line, orange line. Blue line, orange line. But wait, there's more. Do we sell our entire position when it gets to the orange line? No, you sell 80% because that's the hard part, blue line, orange line. But then you remember that song, right? Hey, what was that song we were singing the other day? Something like 1 minute, multi-day, VWAP reversal. 1 minute, multi-day, VWAP reversal. The 1 minute multi-day VWAP reversal, the only trade you ever have to take. Come on, you know it. Come on, bring in the drums. A 1 minute multi-day VWAP reversal. 1 minute multi-day VWAP reversal. 1 minute multi-day VWAP reversal, the only trade you ever have to take. Come on now, you in the back. So, because it got to the orange line, you still have to obey VWAPian law by taking off the trade. But you think to yourself, wait a minute, we don't sell the entire position at one price ever, right? And you're certainly not going to sell an entire position at one price if you have a chance of the full-blown reversal. So what is the full-blown reversal, you ask? Good question. That's when a stock that has reported earnings, that has been red, goes green. Mind-blowing, right? That's the reversal. And by the way, we're selling some SRAD just to take some profits because it did hit 30, and now, for all we know, this thing could sit between 27.50 and 30 for the next 3 weeks before they report earnings. I'm lightening up a little bit. We got to 30. I still think the stock's going to 50, but I do need to take something off the table on the stock. Just full disclosure. But AT&T, my friends, right? So the reversal part, a young Kenny Glick, circa 1997, discovered this trade. And I said, and I remember talking to my father about it. And yeah, he's like, yeah, it's so weird when a stock reports terrible earnings and you see the stock's up by the end of the day. And I said, Dad, that seems to happen a lot. You know what I've noticed is that a company reports great earnings and the stock's down. He's like, yeah, that's a bunch of bullshit too. Blah, 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 blah. And I was like, yeah, but you know what? You can make money off that trade. Because what I've noticed, if they gap the stock up on good news and it sells off, they hammer it. And when a stock reports bad earnings and the stock winds up going green, it rips. And I just started taking that trade. So I was buying it at 27.42. Now, fast forward to an older, wiser Kenny Glick, who has discovered the wonderful world of VWAP trading. VWAP's getting me into a trade that has been working since 1996, almost $1 ahead of schedule. So I'm buying faux show bro anyway, because I love the faux show bro. But a faux show bro on an earnings report that's breaking VWAP. Like I said, we haven't had a failed one yet. In close to 3 years now, and it's been a phenomenal trade. And if you keep taking this trade, and let me show you one that didn't really work as well. So let's talk Texas Instruments for a second, right? Texas Instruments today, right? Did they report earnings? Hell yeah. Are they down? Sure are. Give me a reason to buy it. Well, the reason to buy it was pre-market. I don't like holding into the open, so I wasn't involved. It worked, all right? Because there it is. You got your faux, you got your show, and then you got 192.50, got up to 195 and change. I'm not going to say it didn't work, but if you were waiting for the open, right? And by the way, it did work, so I guess you can't say it didn't work. I was going to say this doesn't break the streak because it actually faux show broed and you got paid. We actually got paid on the stock. The reason I'm bringing this one up is look where it is now. So we got the fake out shakeout right here, right? Broke a new low, came back, starts to rally, tests that spot. I'm like, all right, cool. And then I missed this move. But then it tried to sell off and didn't. And then it broke back above a double top. So we bought it right there. And then we got the VWAP break. And it starts to rally. And I'm thinking, here we go. Fake out, shake out, VWAP break. And it was, yeah, right? But our entry price was 189.90. Wait, what did I get? 189.90. Right? Next thing you know, it's up to 190.50. I'm like, hey, right, here we go. Profitable trade. Normally I'm taking something off the table. And then it goes right back down to where I bought it. I'm not going to panic because it's not breaking below the prices where, and again, on August 16th, I'll show you where to put your stops. If you're buying this candle, usually I use prior low candle and then pivot point. So as long as it's not breaking here and here, I'm not going to freak out about it, right? So we held jiggle, jiggle, shuffle, shuffle, jiggle, jiggle, shuffle, jiggle, jiggle, shuffle, shuffle, jiggle, jiggle, go. Next thing you know, here we're thinking, all right, this is the one. And then it rolls over and still dies. You know what you do right there? I'm out. I'm out. And I ate it. You know, I basically got out flat on the last, sold a little bit finally because I got back to that price. But here I'm not selling at all because I'm thinking we're about to blast off. And then it rolls over. So what do you do about it? You sell it. And you say, hey, this one's rolling over. What do I do about it? Sell it. But I thought it was going to bro, but it's not. Sell it. And that's a good point to remember. We still let the stocks tell us what to do. There's no debate. I'm not here to debate with the market anymore. I know the market knows more than I do. I know a lot about the market, but nobody knows more about the market than the market itself. So I just listen. And VWAP and ranges help me stay disciplined in that listening process. And, in that moment right there, hey, I could have said, well, let's see what happens. Usually it'll turn around. No, it's breaking down. I have to sell it. Right. So if I wouldn't have sold it, I would have taken what was a small profit and turned it into a $400 or $500 loss. Winning. That's winning trading right there. If one doesn't cooperate, you get the hell out. The AT&T cooperated all day. You're still in it. Halliburton yesterday cooperated all day. We stayed in it. And that's the essence of this whole entire trade. The setup gets you in usually. Oh, I should rephrase that. The setup gets you in at a good price usually. Then it's about working the order. And that's what I'll show you more so on, join me on August 16th. We'll see if my corporate overlords let you in. But if you are a member, it's a free thing. You might pay a couple of shekels, but it'd be worth your time. And I'll do 2 hours of crunching charts, and then I'll show you how to parlay all these trades into options. I'll show you a couple of the long-term charts that I like so much, the Andy Dufresne's. And that's where I've been picking all these garbage stocks from, Here's Donut, by the way. I don't think this stock is done, even though we're out right now. I have an affinity towards Krispy Kreme donuts. I think hope is getting in the way of this trade right here. I'll be honest. I like Krispy Kreme. Who doesn't? You're a maniac if you don't. And we did very well with the stock yesterday and this morning and top ticked it on the way out. I haven't traded it long since, which is kind of making me want to buy it. But I'm going to show you here what the chart I'm talking about. It's these 3-year charts, these 4-year charts. Some of these stocks have been coming out of just the awfulest downtrends. So here's the yearly on Krispy Kreme. So just like the mob and just like, CDLX and just like every other trade I've been doing, there's usually a longer dated multiple time frame VWAP up there attracting the stock, kind of like QS, right? QS was insane. QS here, take a look at this QS trade. That's why I still like it. Even on a 10-year chart. By the way, they report earnings tonight. This is going to be our go-to name tomorrow. Here's the 5-year chart on QS. So it's gone to every extended VWAP except the 5-year. If they report anything decent and the stock starts to rip, you're going to 18, maybe even more tomorrow. Big fan of this stock right now. I don't own it. I'm waiting for it to come back. And I'm waiting for the report to come out tonight, and then we'll attack it. If it gaps and goes without me tomorrow, who cares? I'm not buying it into the report. Then again, I haven't even checked, but normally I never buy options going into earnings reports. These are fairly cheap. Actually not bad. I mean, the stock's probably expected for a 20% move upside. So 20% on a $13 stock, what is that? $260. So if you're paying 13, you're paying $1 for the 13. It's right around. It's not a terrible price. Except if you're wrong, it's 100% loss because they expire on Friday. Point is, I'm not doing it. I don't. If it goes without me, who cares, right? It's just be another name that rips. But when it's not earnings season, are you just using percentage and losers guessed? It's more than that. They need to be percentage gainers off, and they need to be like stocks that I'm somewhat familiar with that are coming out of awful Andy Dufresne patterns. But yeah, it's generally volume, unusual volume, and percentage gainers. Yeah, that's the combination that gets me interested. But I like it better when it's on a stock that I'm familiar with, kind of like when the quantum stocks were coming out. I knew all about these stocks because I've been trading a long time, and any fad that's happened in this market, I've been a part of because that's kind of what I do. Hey, me again. Whoa, that's too big. Let me put you in the corner over there. Hello. So, yeah, that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. But yeah, back to your point, I try to find stocks that are, that I'm somewhat familiar with. That's why I loved when somebody said, "What do you think about Donut?" And I was like, "I love it." I mean, I was late to the party on Donut, but when I saw that, and what's really awesome about it is look what price it held, 250. That's important because stocks when they break 250, they're generally headed to zero or like $1. And that's also important when stocks come back above 250 like that open. When that broke 250, you saw what happened, right? All hell broke loose. The thing doubled again. But 250 is a big number, right? So here's your Andy Dufresne, right? Hell's 250, another consolidation. So you had kind of two consolidations, sideways patterns, and it came out of a double. And by the way, is anybody still in RTX? Because these options are trading at 325 now. See? It's just a day later, man. That's why these earnings plays are the best trades ever. Because sometimes if they don't, and by the way, before I go any further, is anybody in Myrna? Because that Myrna trade exemplifies why option trading, that trade that we did on Myrna, right? We had a great trade on it, and then we took some of that money and we went out a week. We bought the following Friday's options on Wednesday of that prior week. That trade just doesn't work because you're giving yourself an extra amount of time that says, all right, I'll give it got some time for the stock to breathe, but it's not enough time to let it breathe. And that's what happened on this Myrna trade. And I don't believe in any coincidences. The stock finally breaks out. We call it the breakout. Here's the Myrna coming out of the Andy Dufresne. Got paid well. Nice trade. And then we bought the options because we didn't want to hold the stock anymore. So we started buying 33, 32.50s, 33s. And then the stock did what? It took 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 days off just to have everybody lose on their following week's options. We all lost. And then 2 days later, the stock did exactly what we needed to do, but 2 days later. But if anybody's still swinging this, wonderful, right? Again, that's why trading stock is so much easier than trading options. But when you're trading options, and the reason I'm talking about this is that most of the time, as a day trader, we were talking about relative, what's it called? Whether something's expensive or cheap. You don't need to know whether it's expensive or cheap if you're just day trading them, because it's over by the end of the day anyway. So if the AT&T call is 30 cents, it's 30 cents. There's no debate. You got to pay the 30 cents, not cheap or inexpensive. You want to buy the stock at 27 and instead you're buying a $27 call, then you got to pay the 30 cents. You don't need to worry about if it's cheap or expensive because stock moves, does what you want it to do today, you're selling it. RTX, again, the reason that I'm talking about it is that when it started to go against us, it does give you that, oh, okay, at least I got 3 days to expiration. I didn't have to panic out of it yesterday because I really did think it was going to make a move. And, obviously we got the move at the end of the day yesterday on RTX. And we actually got out because when you go from a loss to a win, you take the money. And I debated whether or not to hold it. And I could have got back in today. It's not like I couldn't have got back in. It's another ass crack VWAP break on RTX. Again, before I going around talking about too many things here. Bottom line is that these trades, we continue to find them. The setups work on every stock. The more volume, the better, obviously. And let me show you another trade we did today. It was open, talking about short-lived trades, right? We were looking for a reason to buy because the stock had already tanked, right? Stock's probably going to zero now, right? They had their fun with it. And you never know. Again, if open wakes up one day and starts ripping, yeah, we'll address it. But normally, this is what you see, right? You got a stock that went from 50 cents to $5. That's 10x. What do you want? You want more? All right. Well, let's see what happens when it goes back to 171. That's the 1-year VWAP where it kind of broke out from. This is what you're normally going to see. And that's why I want to say this again, and I'll say it a million times. 1 second. I just got distracted by massive size coming in on Wolf. Talking about pump and dumps getting pumped repeatedly. You guys know about WLF, Wolf. All right. So anyway, before I go any further, right? So these stocks that we've been trading, even the SBETs, the USARs, the Tron, which is having a better day today, you got to remember, they're all worthless, every single one of them. And when they go against you and you think to yourself, all right, I'm going to hang in there and maybe I'll buy more. No, don't hang in there. Don't buy more. When these trades are over, these stocks are going to zero, right? And you're never going to get your money back. AT&T goes against you a little bit and you say, all right, I'll hang on to some overnight. All right, AT&T's not going to zero tomorrow. I can guarantee you that. But you hold one of these dog shit stocks 1 day extra, and you're going to give back 50%, 80%, if not all of it. So be vigilant about what we're trading. Like the people that bought Kohl's yesterday at $20. None of them are ever going to see their money ever again. And that's why I was short in the stock yesterday. 95% of stocks, and I mean it, and that's why I'm a bear. To me, 95% of stocks are worthless. They're all pump and dump garbage, right? Built on what? The whole market's built on what? Hope and faith that somebody will come along and buy something more expensively than you bought it. That's everybody's belief. It's otherwise known as a pyramid scheme or a Ponzi scheme, the whole market. Let's not lose uh, that attitude. And that attitude has kept me in the game. So when I'm trading stocks like Galaxy, like who the hell even knows what the stock is? Does it matter? No. But while it's rocking, I'm interested, right? But this stock ever breaks back below where it broke out from, it's probably going to zero. And I mean it. When I say stocks are going to zero, they're going to zero. Because when they roll over and they stop having volume and people forget about them, then it doesn't even matter what their business model is. And that's the market we're in. Remember, it's all popularity contest. If nobody cares about how well this company is doing, then your stock is still going to suck, right? Who owns Pfizer, right? Pfizer makes more money than probably every stock we traded today. Pfizer makes more money than all of them, right? Combined. But what's the stock do? Nothing. It's probably been $25 now for what, 3 years in a row? I don't know where it's been, but it's garbage, right? Yeah, garbage. Garbage. You know how much money they make? Stupid amounts of money. Nobody cares, right? You want to make money as a trader, you go where the action is, and you enjoy the action as long as you can. And then sometimes swing trades and, dare I use the word, investments come out of your day trade. And that's what we've been in. See, lately, you trade Myrna coming out of the Andy Dufresne. It treats you well. You hang around with Myrna for a while. Yeah, TMC, right? This thing doesn't want to die. Still on our main scanner. The stock keeps coming back to life, right? So you keep following it. Look, faux show, bro, VWAP break. 730 got you 765. It's every trade, right? So today, what I do best is I know what stocks are going to be in play, right? I know where the hot money is. So let's talk about FCX again for a second, right? Now, what's this thing doing? It's just awful. But it provided us 2 winning trades, some 3 winning trades. I didn't short that thing when it rolled, but I bought the pop, sold it, bought the pop, sold it. And it's kind of it's boring, but they were profitable trades. And right now, this market, this is as bearish as you get. The market's not ripping higher. It's slowly going up. So that's the new bear market, right? This is the new bear market. We don't go down. We just stop moving. It's like the Terminator. Can't self-terminate, so he shuts himself off and repairs. That's kind of what the market's doing now. It's not going down. They don't go down anymore. I could make a joke about married life right there, but I'll let that one go. And then you got stocks like Sedge, right? We were all excited about Sedge yesterday. What happened to Sedge today? Well, ENPH happened, right? So ENPH getting hammered. It's going to take its younger brother Sedge down with it. So, and this is one of those cases where the stock broke out, right? You got paid yesterday. You were maybe expecting some more today, but then a little dose of reality, otherwise known as a 1-minute multi-day VWAP reversal, happened. You want to be on the other side of a trade that works every time? No. You just say, oh, I guess Sedge is being sold off today. It is. 1-minute multi-day VWAP reversal. And I was long this morning because it gave me a reason to buy it. EMPH was rallying. Sedge was rallying. I actually was in the stock. And again, another example of why I don't own or trade right into the open, because you just don't know what's going to happen during the open. Where are my RTX fans, people? Anybody? RTX? So yeah, today, see, and when you learn how I trade and you trade as if you're playing by my rule book, or not as if, you should be playing by my rule book, these are the days where it saves you. Most of the time in the bull market, what are we doing? We're selling into the move anyway. And then the thing keeps going up and you get all pissed off and then you chase higher. Then it pulls back and then you sell because, oh, I just chased it. I knew I shouldn't have bought it back. And then it goes down a little bit, gets you out, and then it still goes up without you, but you wind up losing money. The way I trade, it transcends all market environments because I'm always selling into the move, always covering shorts on the way down, adjusting my stops. So in these sideways choppy type of days, I'm managing the risk fine. And I'm not pissed off because stocks aren't blasting off after I sell out of them like donut and open, right? That open trade, like I was about to tell you, like here's another one. This was us, right? So we got the fake out, shake out, and then the VWAP double tap, triple tap. So I'm sitting there like, all right, cool. You know what? Stock just faux showed. It tested VWAP 3 times. If it breaks it, I'm in. I'm in. And then 2 seconds later, it broke it. So I bought 3,000 shares, right? And I bought it at 243. And I said, my son, fuckhead that he is, I even took a nickel profit. You know why? Because I could. 3,000 shares. I sold 500 shares at 258. I sold 500 at 252. I sold 500 at 255. Here at 257, I'm thinking, holy shit, here we go. And then it rolled over. And then it went right back to VWAP. You know what I did there? I had to eat it. Oh, I thought it was going to go higher. Oh, I wish I would have sold it all up there. No. Don't pretend that you were going to sell it all at one price. You're not going to do that. But what you don't do is say, oh, let me see what happens. I should have sold it all up there. Now it's breaking down. No. Now you sell it. That's it. Your decision's being made for you, right? You bought it for the VWAP break. You got your VWAP break. It ran out of steam up there. You sold some on the way up, and now it's rolling over. Eat it. Eat it. And I ate it. And I dumped the other 1,500 shares flat. Right? That's how you stay in the business. Every trade. Oh, by the way, here it comes. Here it comes. Oh my God. Come on, maybe we should do this trade together right now. Hang on a second. Well, see, I would have been in it already. Little faux show right there at 212. I should have bought it at the 220 already. But now it's kind of setting up the way it's set up earlier. A little faux show right here, little one right there. If it breaks VWAP again, chances are it's moving. But this is the reason I'm having this conversation with you, right? And this is what I do every single day, right? I walk you through these trades. I'm trying to navigate a lot of names all at once today. But the idea is that once you get the understanding of the trade setup, why am I buying it? Where am I selling it? And what am I doing when it goes the other direction? And then you'll know what to be doing. I circle back and I want to make sure everybody's doing the right thing. And, sometimes I miss my own trades by doing that. Rig, I'm a fan. Yeah, I'm a fan of all of these stocks right now. I gave you the list, right? BTU, Rig, Schlumberger, SLB, Oxy, APA, Halliburton, Alcoa, KMI, ATI, and my old pal Cliff. Some of them have had pretty good moves, but again, the sector rotation. I mean, this is just obvious. This is Captain Obvious talking here, but sector rotation. The home builders caught their bid. You got weed stocks actually going up yesterday, and you got the energy oil sector. So, and I made my bones trading Rig back in the day when this was a real company. Transocean, man. I still can't believe this thing's under $5, actually. But they got so much debt. It's a problem. so to bring it back, you know, staying focused on the earnings reports has been awesome, right? And then you throw in some of these weird stocks, a couple of bios, and that's your day. And then you just rinse and repeat. Speaking of that, ATAI, somebody gave this one to me yesterday. The mushroom sector has been hot. ATAI. Yeah, there you go. So here, perfect example. Never heard of this stock until yesterday. Thank you, by the way, for bringing it to our attention, whoever you did, whoever it was. Right? And this is this is a great story right here. So somebody gave me this idea. Hey, what do you think about this stock? And I looked at the long-term chart and I was like, you know what? I dig it. You consolidated, you broke out, you came back to test that area, and you actually broke out again. I dig it, right? Because when the pumps come back, that's when they get pumped even more, right? Because all the shorters that didn't cover, they're chasing to cover again. The longs that were debating are chasing in. And here's your 5-year chart. You broke over that 5-year VWAP. Looks like every other trade that I like. So I was like, ooh, I'm interested, right? And then, I tell the story about Warren Buffett calling me. Warren Buffett called me one day. He's like, Kenny, I want you to buy XYZ or FPD or whatever it was. Warren Buffett called me directly. He said, look, buy the stock. Trust me. And I was like, hey, man, I'll take it under advisement. And then the next day, the stock faux show broed. And then I bought it. My point is, I don't care who tells me to buy a stock. It still needs to be validated by VWAP for me to be interested. So my friend told me about ATAI yesterday, as well as there's another one, MNMD. Oh, that's going the other way today. And there was another one. I forgot what it was, right? ATAI, right? So this is the Warren Buffett moment. So here this guy tells me about, oh, you like weed stocks? I got a stock for you. This is in the mushroom sector. I looked at the chart. I'm like, wow, that's very interesting. And I took it under advisement. The next day, it faux show bros and does a 1-minute multi-day VWAP reversal. Boom. I should be all over this stock. But again, I'm doing other things. That's just why inevitably when I get the algo, I type in all these symbols, the algo will buy it. The algo is programmed, if it sees a faux show under the VWAP, to buy the VWAP break. And I'm sure if I had this in again, I don't have it on. Actually, I don't know. Maybe he did pick it up. But I'd be all over this stock. And this is a trade where the new trader, the small account trader, or whoever you are, can make really good money. First of all, you got a 350 to 375. I know it's only a quarter, but you're not buying a couple of hundred shares of a $3 stock generally. You're doing 3,000 to start, maybe 5, maybe 10. So that 30 cents is pretty damn good. By the way, this RTX keeps going up. And now let me just take a look if ATAI has options. Oh my God, it does. Let me see what you would have been buying. They're August. You would have been buying the August 3. Yeah, no, they don't have 3s. That's interesting that they don't have 3s, but they have 5s and 7s. This thing could actually get squeezed because of the chain. You see how that has 152, 250, and then it jumps to 5? There's no way for the shorts to protect themselves between 250 and 5. And that's where you get what they call, I don't know if they call it the gamma squeeze, but there's nothing here. You see how they're loading up on the 250s because that's the only reasonable play. And then the next strike is 5. This could rip to 5 pretty damn easily, actually. That's a pretty good setup. But look at this trade, right? I'm nowhere near it. What's Kirk doing? All right, Kirk sold off. And the only reason I'm bringing that one to your attention is that it did that yesterday. And usually you get 3 days. Well, today you got 2. You only got 2, giving it back. But keep an eye on this thing because if it's this close to the 250, it might want to make another run. And this stock is another. Want to see a gross looking chart? Here's 5 years on Kirk. And if you guys know about Kirk, it's they sell toilet paper and generic products for Sam's Club. Costco, one of those, Kirkland. And this is a kind of stock that nobody cares about until they suddenly do. And that's like everything else. And that's why it's a great market. And that's why it's like if you're doing this long enough, you know every one of these stocks. And that's why we need another crash. We need another crash. We need another crash. We need a side. We need a you know, we need a bear market that lasts for more than 7 hours. Because then you get some Andy Dufresne all over the place, and then the stocks resurrect themselves. I mean, it was very subtle, but I mean, this was the greatest faux show bro of the year was the Palantir. I mean, I couldn't believe the stock pulled back to 80. I could have believed because it broke out from 80, got to the 120, pulls back to 80, made sense. When it broke 80, right? I'm thinking, holy crap, am I going to get a chance to buy this stock at $50? And then I hesitated and I didn't really buy, and I wound up buying back when it broke out anyway. It's so silly. What was my point there? Oh, even stocks like Palantir, you'll get your sideways as long as you get enough of the sideways action, the better the break. But right now, we haven't had any consolidation phases. We need sideways consolidations to break out of, and we're running out. And I guess we just declared world peace. And now you see why you just never can short the market, ever. I don't know what's going on, but just suffice it to say, UVXY has been red all day. The market never goes down. And I'm thinking we're not going down for another 3.5 years. And I'm pretty damn convinced. No, I'm beyond convinced. Because when I did my calculations, and I think a few of you might have laughed when I said 1,040, April 20th, 2028. Do the math. You're right there. 1,040, April 28th. Sorry, April 20th, 2028 at 1:43 p.m. Be there. Because we're going to see Dow 100,000 within the next 3.5 years, right? I think we're gonna have, once this consolidates again, we're gonna tack on 30%. And the same story is going to be the prevailing story is this market's overbought. Earnings is not matching this market. The market's irrationally exuberant. It'll still be the same story. And we'll just keep climbing and climbing and climbing. It really is foolish to be a shorter. It's just foolish to be a shorter. And by the way, I'll leave you on this note. If they cut interest rates, I hope the whole market crashes. And I don't know. I have no pleasant words. If they cut interest rates this year, they should be raising interest rates, raising them. The economy's booming, everything's rocking. No interest rates cuts, right? No interest rates cuts. Nah, no. We were told the market was going to crash if we even blipped it to 0.5%. And we went to 5.5%. And all we did was create the biggest bull market ever. Do not cut interest rates. Only 60% of Americans own stocks. The rest have some sort of money involved in a savings account, a CD, a money market. Let them have their day. They've been waiting for a decade to make something on their savings account. Interest rates should be getting raised right now. Raise them. And that's also another thing. I'll leave you on that because I'm no economist. I failed accounting. It's partially because I was in the rave scene at the time. I didn't go to class, but there was no way you're not gonna pass accounting without studying. Failed accounting. Never liked economics. I went to school for television and radio production and singing and dancing. And I've learned about the market all from the School of Hard Knocks, which is the best school to go to. Everything I've read on the internet from the smart people, has been wrong for the last 20 years at least. Fundamental analysis doesn't work anymore. The idea that interest rates going up was going to crash the market makes sense, right? Because it does make sense. Hey, people finally have a place to put their money without taking any risk. Okay, but you're making 2.5% here where you could triple your money every day in the market. It's not the risk you're taking is not worth what you think it is right here. But the point is, we can live here. We should be living at 5.5% for the next 5 or 6 years and just let everybody get used to it. And we will. Because let me tell you, there's a recession coming that they've been talking about since 2021. We were running out of wheat. We were running out of diesel. Stores were being shut down. Shelves were going to be empty. And all hell was supposed to be breaking loose. And according to some, we're all supposed to be underwater by now. None of that's happening. And I'll bring it home with this. Even if it was happening, the market wouldn't go down because the market is disconnected from reality. And it's based on one thing: fear, greed, algorithms programmed by VWAP. My name's Kenny Glick. I'm sticking to my story. All right. And BMNR waking up again. So you guys want some scary moments in your life? By the way, BMNR has options on it, but they're only weeklies. I'm sorry, they're only monthlies in 5-point increments. All right. Stay healthy, my friends. I got to run. I'll be back tomorrow. Next week, it's going to be all hands on deck. If anybody wants to present, if you guys think you have something smart to say, we'll let you come on the air. My son will be running the show along with the wonderful and talented Salagello. My other Fazoon wannabe, Dave, will be around. Hopefully we get some hostile charts in the action. I'm going down to Georgia. Driving down to Georgia and bringing my kid's car down there because that's what I do. I drive to Georgia. So I'll be driving to Georgia. If anybody's in North Carolina, I'll be staying at some village. Looks pretty cool. I'll be at the Birkdale Village, North Carolina, south of Davidson College, staying there for the night because I don't feel like driving the whole way. And then some UGA action, do some unpacking and some saying our farewells, and then we leave our daughter down in UGA. And then you got me for the rest of the month of August 16th. Pencil it in, Saturday, 12 o'clock. And we'll all live this wonderful market together. May it never change. Peace, my friends. Good seeing you.